to the outpouring of the vials, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like we our own internal orientation toward God is going to determine how we experience. What is that? The outpouring of the vials is in fact the outpouring of the divine love. But if we are trapped in materiality, we won't experience it in that way.
Right.
Well, it's kind of an interesting thing too, like just at the literary parallel, like I think one of the things that's interesting that Bach brings up in the chapter is that as we draw near to the second coming, right, the return of Christ also opens up the space for Antichrist. He kind of gets into that, I think, toward the end of the chapter, if I'm remembering correctly. But it really, I feel like that's where Yeats' second coming is kind of the mirror. I felt like that was just like
the parallel imagery when in that section between the there's a whole bunch of parallel imagery too, because he even brings up the same Egyptian imagery that is in the Yeats poem.
What rough beast slouches towards Bethlehem.
Yeah, exactly.
And that poem was echoing in my mind, especially in that section in Bach, because I feel like this is part of, I think he's into this kind of thinking. Bulgakov is into this kind of thinking in his work on Revelation as well, is like there's this revelatory force in history that we kind of are caught in and begin to sense what's going there. And so Yeats in Second Coming is obviously not talking about the second coming of Christ. He's talking about the return of something much worse. Right. And so there's this sense that people have that history is moving us in this direction, right? As the magnitude of that coming, it kind of bears itself on our present from the future. We're also feeling, it's like it's Yeats's gyre structure of, it's like you have two sources of causation into the present of both past and future.
What I understood from this chapter, though, was that what Bach is saying is that you use the term, Yeats is talking about something much, how did you say that now?
Darker, The second coming is not necessarily like the reference to the second coming of Christ in that way.
Right, but
he's talking about that. Yeats is also talking about how the approaching of the Parousia, as Bach is saying, also ushers in the coming of the Antichrist, which is what Yeats' subject in the poem actually is the coming of the Antichrist, not the second coming.
Right,
but they're connected.
It's titled The Second Coming.
Right, which is right, because they're linked. They are linked.
They are. They're totally linked. I've never understood that poem to be Antichrist, actually. I've always understood that poem to be very right.
Yeah, it is. I would say it is right, but I think like if you go into like even the secondary literature and like Yeats' discussions on that, like it's his sense of kind of surveying the landscape.
I write a lot of essays